What's up, everybody? It's Breshears from the Digital Marketing Madman channel. I hope you're doing fantastic today. I just am going to make sure that the switcher's working out, that the audio's okay, and then we're going to get started here in just a second. Today we're going to be talking about that Niestat video, which hopefully you've seen. It's pretty dang cool. He talks about how Burger King went and tweeted about his, or liked his old tweets, and he's like, what's going on? Super random and weird. And anyways, it's going to be really good. So we'll talk about that strategy. Was that exploitation or was that just smart marketing in general? I think that there's actually a pretty clear answer to that. I totally know that Casey wasn't saying, like, I'm exploited. I totally get what he's saying. He liked it, and he's like, man, that's awesome. And I think that that's a really cool perspective to have. That being said, let's make sure that we're streaming here to live on YouTube. Let's make sure that we're good to go. And as we're going here, if you could comment and say what's up, if you're able to see this stream, if anybody's watching right now, that would be great. If you're watching this on replay, still comment and say hello, and let me know how you're doing, where you're watching from. I'm gonna see here if we're live and if the sound's okay and all that stuff. So let's see here, videos. Let's go to my channel here. So if you're new to this channel, my name is Breshears, and this is the Digital Marketing Madman channel. I talk about digital marketing and I make digital marketing videos every single day here. Let's see. Just gonna go to Creator Studio here. I'm not sure how to validate. I don't usually live stream on YouTube. I'm usually live streaming on Facebook. So thanks for bearing with me here. Let's go to channel, live streaming. Hopefully we're working out good. So I'm just going to start talking about this here and switch over to the news story that we're talking about. So we're talking about Niestat's video about Burger King, and it's pretty dang smart. So we've got his tweets here. This is what he explains. If you haven't watched his YouTube video, it's this one, Exploited by Burger King, right here. Super interesting. So what happened is that Burger King went back to tweets from 2010, and they liked 3 of his posts back there. And so he's and other influencers went and they said, like, what's going on? Why are they going through this and doing this? Now, there's a few reasons why this worked. Number one is that Burger King is a large brand. So if it was just some random person, this wouldn't have worked. So I think the biggest takeaway is that that was a serious pattern interrupt. And if you don't have the following, or if you don't have the, like, clout to make something like this work, you're gonna have to use a different strategy. But for Burger King, obviously they're a big company, so when they have a large size company like that that is taking note and going back and going through your content, it's very different and it really stands out because it's so different. So that being said, like, you have to make sure that, number one, if you're going to try a strategy like this, that you want to be extremely different. Now, I don't think that this is a good strategy long-term, because it's something that you can't continue to repeat. Now that people know about it, it's no longer a pattern interrupt. That's the thing with these kind of marketing tactics. They're effective in the short term, but over the long term, they're not effective. And so it's like the boy who cried wolf, basically, right? So if you're thinking of, like, how can I figure out ways to do this, you can go back and do research. Like if you're a fan of Gary Vaynerchuk, for example, he goes back and talks a lot of times about people who were buying wine from his wine business, and he'd go out and find what they'd like, and he would just basically stalk them on their Twitter account and find out what they really loved and give them a gift. And what came of that was super interesting. If you've never heard Gary talk about that, be sure to check out his channel. But if you like marketing, you've probably heard him talk about that a lot of times. But it's pattern interrupts like this that's kind of the key component of this whole thing that make it work. I'm excited to see what Burger King does. I'm 100% sure Burger King is going to respond back and do something pretty epic with this. So I don't think that it's I don't think that there's anything bad that can come out of this. And it was actually really, really well played by their marketing department. And so I'm just going to be really, really interested to see. I guarantee something cool is going to happen. And if they don't, it's such a wasted opportunity that, like, just the PR that you can get from doing things like that. You know, other examples of this is when celebrities show up to like weddings, or they just show up at fans. They do something that's completely out of the ordinary. Somebody that kind of really reminds me of this is like Taylor Swift, for example. She showed up to weddings, and like the PR that you get from the people, so you don't even have to like advertise it at that point, the things that you're doing. And again, it's because she's a huge brand, right? So if you are a large brand, being personal and acting like a normal person, which is something that we all do every single day. Like if I showed up at somebody's wedding, they wouldn't let me in, right? But if you're a huge brand and a huge person, that kind of human interaction is such a pattern interrupt that it just, people aren't expecting it, and then it makes the news, basically. So if you can think of ways to, in general, like either engage more, connect more, care more, show that you care more, show up more, all of those kind of things are rare nowadays. And so whenever you're able to do something that's rare or outstanding with social media, people will share that. And so a lot of times you don't even have to advertise it. If you have the right intent behind the stuff that you're doing, you're not going to have to advertise it. And it might not happen every single time, but the more that you go out of your way to help people, the more you're going to get this kind of PR that you're not looking for. And it's a great marketing tactic in general. So, you know, like another kind of play off this is with other brands that are acting more like people. Like, for example, one of the most famous ones is Wendys, right? Where they have their famous Twitter account, which they basically troll McDonald's and Burger King and Carl's Jr., and it's hilarious, right? So, like, I'm going to McDonald's, what should I get? And they said a McRefund. So that's just good Twitter presence. They're searching and they're up to date on their different keywords. They're able to respond to things like that. And like that is such a good example of social listening and having a good social presence and really defining your brand, and not only defining it, but also like building a brand persona that people can engage with. And I think that when they do that, it just is, it's hard to pay for that kind of exposure. You can't really get that through paid. And so I think it all just kind of comes back to boiling down to that you have to figure out kind of what your brand position is going to be, and then really just figure out how you can engage your clients more and potential clients. And with social media, that aspect of not just broadcasting all the time and instead just engaging with people is really a huge component. Like, social media was designed and developed so that you could be real with your friends and your family, right? And what it's turned out to be is that it's so cultivated and curated so that everything looks perfect almost all the time. And so if you can interrupt that normal pattern, it really stands out and keeps you kind of ahead of everyone else. So there's obviously extremes, and there's good ways and bad ways to do that. But I think that was probably a really genius move on the part of Burger King. They're not going to be able to do that again, so it's a one-time thing, so they did it well. And I can't wait to see what the follow-up is. My guess is that they will create an event or some kind of a campaign around this, and it's going to be pretty cool. So that's, I think, kind of the big takeaway is that it wasn't really exploitation, and I think that that Casey acknowledged that for sure, and I think he went about it the total right way, which was cool. And so I'm just really excited to see what's going to happen. I'd like to know what you think is going to happen. If you comment below, let me know what you think is going to happen, and tell me, is there any famous ads that you think were really, really good, or campaigns that were great as well? You know, I'm thinking back to when Taylor Swift releases music and her new albums and things, she goes silent on social media and removes all of her posts. That's also a really smart move. You know, like that's just the opposite of what most people are doing. So if you're looking to build attention, if you do the opposite of what most people are doing, it helps you to stand out. And it's hard to think, and like it's so obvious now when we think about like, oh yeah, Taylor Swift deleted all of her content on Instagram and then republished it. That's like, yeah, it makes sense. It's really, really good. Another thing that's like really interesting too is if you're trying to build, I mean, it just depends on the channel and things, right? So just trying to stand out and really doing things that are different than other people, it's really important. Just because there's so much noise out there. So posting content that just is not different will make you just be muted out there. So that's just a few things that I was thinking about. I really wanted to highlight this because it was pretty genius in my opinion. And so there it is, right? And I think it's really interesting too. They're bringing back the that specific product. I don't even remember what it was. I think it's funnel cake French fries or something. And the time frames that they chose was based on when it was previously released, which is kind of cool. So building out things that have mysterious meaning behind them is a great PR move for sure for large size companies in general. I think that most companies take themselves like far too serious, and it's understandable because it's kind of nerve-wracking to put your neck out there. And I get like why you want to do the safe stuff all the time. And like even for somebody that's a creator, or like in my digital marketing agency, it would take a lot of guts to say like, we're going to try a campaign that's like what Wendys does, for example. So anyways, I just think that takes a lot of guts, and it's pretty cool. But anyways, let me know what you think, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe if you like digital marketing. I do daily digital marketing videos. I have one coming out here in just a little bit, and I also vlog about my agency as well. So hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.